Welcome to Vision Boards for the Win. Today, we're going to tap into our creative side as a way to achieve success. We're going to cover the difference between planning and visioning, how to avoid a limiting mindset, and different ways to create a vision board.
So, first, let's talk about the difference between planning and visioning and the power that visioning brings with it. Now, depending on what your experience has been with vision boards, you might think, oh, it's a little, woo, or maybe it's been really practical for you in the past. I was not fully on board with vision boards earlier in my entrepreneurial journey because I'm a left-brained person, because I'm an accountant. And so I kind of live in that zone. But the visioning is more of the right side and it's more of the creative side. And over time, I learned that it's much better when you have a balance between the two different sides of your brain. Because if you're spending too much time in one and not enough time in the other, then your business can get a little bit lopsided. The other thing I learned over the years is that you tap into a different set of skills or intuition or assets that you have internally when you're doing this kind of an exercise. If you're always doing things that are analytical or, planning things out, we set our goals, right? And we've already done that. And that's important because you do have to have a blueprint or a step-by-step in order to get where you want to go. And that destination, we can only see so much of it, though, when we're planning on paper or digitally. You really have got to see where you're going and you have to see what it looks like ahead of time. Because if you can't see it, then you're never going to really be able to believe that you can get there. And then this works in reverse. We talk about you have to believe it to see it, meaning you have to believe in your ability to get to what you can see in your mind. Once you believe it, then you're going to see that picture. And this picture and this vision, it's not something that's going to stay static the whole time. It's going to change as you grow and as you evolve in your business. But we just want you to understand that it is two different sides of your brain, and it is very powerful when it comes to building your business and things in your personal life too. Like they kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time. But using this exercise that we're going to lay out for you is going to help you reach your goals and to achieve the life that you've dreamed of that maybe you have forgotten over time.
That's right. And, I will echo what Deirdre said. I feel like I'm kind of woo and open-minded, but even to this day, part of me will go, vision boards, yeah, whatever. But I do know logically that they're extremely powerful. And why is that? It's because our brain thinks in pictures. So if you say your friend is going to the grocery store to buy a bunch of bananas, you see that in your mind. Like you see your friend, you see the grocery store, you see a bunch of bananas. Our brains think in pictures. So vision boarding is so powerful because we're able to put our dreams in a format that our brain easily recognizes, and it'll keep playing over and over again, right? So when you think about the left brain versus the right brain and left brain planning, and we're talking about maybe filling out a spreadsheet or doing our annual Trello board planning that we talk about sometimes, those kind of tools are super valuable. And we're not going to say to get rid of them at all, but let's look at it. Let's say you plan your next year out and you say, I'm going to host 2 summits. I'm going to be in a workshop. I'm going to do this or that. I want to earn $300,000 next year. So, okay. So you've said that. So what? What does it look like though? Like, what does earning $300,000 next year look like for you? What does that translate to in your life? What does that give you? Why do you want to earn $300,000? Why do you want to host a summit? Why do you want to have a workshop or, become a speaker or write a book or whatever it is? So it's kind of like taking those handwritten goals or the analytical left side goals and then answering why with pictures. So maybe we want to write a book to become a speaker. So then when you're thinking about putting a vision board together, you create, images of books and of people speaking to audiences. Like, what is your goal realized? What does it mean? So it's kind of cool when you look at it that way. Like the left brain things, the spreadsheets, the Trello boards, the calendars, the whatever else you want to say, are the step-by-step tools to get you to what. And when you're only looking at those step-by-step tools, you're not envisioning the what. You might have a random idea in your mind or a picture in your mind of what that kind of looks like. But here's where you have to get real intentional. You want to make sure that you're looking at exactly what you want, because what we know for sure is that the universe is not going to give you what you want if you're fuzzy on it. So if you are saying, I want to earn $300,000 because that would be cool, that's not enough. That's not enough of a reason. You could break it down. $300,000 would give me X dollars per month, broken down into these categories of things that I want to invest in, that I want to be able to do without thinking about it, like maybe travel every year. I want to take 2 international vacations, whatever it is. But you need to get a clear vision of what that goal is going to get you and then put it on your vision board. That's what we're kind of trying to do here. You need to know what it is. Your plan's going to get you step-by-step process to get you there. But what is there? That's what the visions are. And so we want to help your brain by creating this really awesome board that is in pictures, because our brain thinks in pictures.
And, another part of this too is motivation, because being an entrepreneur and building a business, it's exhilarating and it's gratifying, and it is difficult and it is challenging and it makes you tired. So, all these things wrapped up into one. And so we're going to have days where we have natural motivation because we're so excited about what we're doing. But then there's going to be days where we're just plain tired and we're like, is it really worth it? And so in addition to just, we always talk about, you got to look at your wins, take the wins when they come and really hold on to them. The vision board is another way for you to do that. Like, it keeps you moving forward towards something bigger and better. And so it's going to get you past those humps. And trust me, they're going to be there. No matter how good we plan, no matter how well we execute, there's going to be the challenges, and there are going to be days that we're human beings and we have emotions. And so our emotions, some days are going to get the better of us. And so you've got that vision board to hold on to and to look at. The other part is it keeps the destination in mind. We can get so far down into the action steps of what we're doing that we lose sight of that big picture. And so we want to always keep that big picture in our mind. And the vision board is a way for you to take like a snapshot of those things that you want to achieve and what it's going to feel like. And it doesn't have to just be material things. It can be lifestyle freedom. It can be those esoteric, intangible things that you want in your life, being surrounded by friends and having loving relationships. There are picture representatives of that. So we're not talking about being materialistic here. We're talking about really getting all those things that are important to you and that you want your life to be like, and having that somewhere you can glance at it and be reminded, because that's what's going to keep you going, and it's going to keep you going in the right direction. So how does all this go with the planning? We just talked about left brain, right brain, and it actually does go hand in hand. These two things are symbiotic. They can help one another. By adding that visual component, you're making that goal that you've written down that much more tangible and believable, and it makes your dreams more powerful. The visioning can also help you with the clarity piece, because like Carmen said, you can't get something if you're not 100% crystal clear on it. You're just going to be walking in a general direction, but we want you to be targeted. We want you to be targeting exactly where you want to go and exactly what you need to accomplish in order to get there. And that's where the visioning comes in. So you can start off with your vision. And then from there, that informs, as we reverse engineer back, what are those big things? Like, how long is it going to take to get there? We can then start to plan it out. And your vision doesn't have to be short term. I mean, it can be longer term, and you may not even really know exactly how to get there, but we have to start with something. And so that's going to inform, let's make progress toward that. And the steps kind of align themselves as you go forward. Like when you're driving a car at night and you have your headlights on, you can only see so many feet in front of you, right? But you are able to drive all the way to the destination. Even though you can't see the entire road in front of you at that moment, you can see enough to keep moving forward and in the right direction. And it finally gets you there. So that's kind of how this I see it anyway, with the goal setting and planning, and then this vision. We're shining a light on the path to get you where you want to go.
That's right. And along with the travel analogy and setting a goal and making sure that you're clear, that's like not being clear is like saying I live in New York, the state of New York, and I'm going to head to California. Well, California is a long state. So is your goal just to be anywhere in California? There are some pretty crappy places in California. And then there are some breathtakingly beautiful places in California. Why not choose the exact one you want to arrive at? That's the other thing. And that leads into being able to tap into what you want and not have a limiting mindset, because a lot of times we subconsciously have either had it ingrained in us, or we might believe that I am worthy, or it would be good and okay for me to make $300,000 a year, but it's ridiculous or selfish, or it's more than I could possibly even need to think about making $1 million a year. But why is that? It's not really. That's just a limiting belief. And so when we're talking about being clear, if you could get to wherever you're headed, but you just have to set the intention and the goal and believe it and create that vision, why wouldn't you set it for $1 million a year? You're not selfish to make more money. It's just what you're able to do. People get so hung up on all this kind of stuff, I think. And I think it holds people back a lot more than we actually realize. So sometimes when we're in our businesses and we hit a glass ceiling and we're like, okay, I've been a business owner for X amount of years. Why can't I get to my next level? Maybe I'm making $200,000 a year and I want to make 500,000. I can't even break past 250 no matter what I try. Why is that? I firmly believe that when stuff like that happens, it's something internal that's stopping us. And that's where this vision board, the power of the images, comes into play. Because if our brain thinks in images, let's work with what works well with our brain, right? Let's give it something to imagine. And what Deirdre was saying was great and true, that we might not know how we're going to get there. Like if I say today, I'm going to be a millionaire, and I'm telling you that I am, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but it doesn't matter, because when I set my vision board and I keep taking the steps towards what a millionaire means to me in my life, and I have that laid out beautifully on a vision board to look at, my brain is already doing the work subconsciously. So I just talked about the fact that we may have mindset issues at a subconscious level. So what does that tell us? That tells us that a lot of the things that are going on with us, and we know this, it's scientifically proven, happen on a subconscious level. We haven't learned how to harness the power of our subconscious yet as a species, right? So much stuff is going on subconsciously. Let's feed it the things that are going to help us break through and get past these things, because there's no reason for you to tell yourself you can't do something, or I can only reach this high, otherwise I'm selfish, or I'm not worthy of being a millionaire. You're worthy of being whatever the heck you want to be, and you can get there, and the vision boarding is going to help you.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I would say, is to always check yourself. Like, where do these beliefs come from? We're programmed through society, from our parents, from church, whatever we grew up with and whoever we were around, like a lot of our beliefs are coming from that. And we just kind of take it for granted that is like, part of us, it's who we are. But when you really stop to question your beliefs, and this is a very important thing to do, I like to do this on my birthday. Like my birthday is like introspection day. Like that's when I go through all these different exercises. And this is one of them. Like I write down, what do I believe to be true about myself, about different areas of my life and about my business? And then I question this. So do I still believe this? Is this still true? Because truth is really your perspective. It's something that your perspective changes. So that might mean that what you believe changes too, but we accept the things that we believed when we were 20. And now that we are, 2 decades later, maybe that's not true for us anymore because we've gained knowledge, we've gained wisdom, we've gained experience. And the more you know, that changes how you think about things. So I want to encourage you to think about these beliefs. And let's talk about this one belief that I hear a lot of times as I'm talking to different women in business. They go, oh, well, I don't need to make more than. Well, why is that? So to me, that says there could be a limiting belief there. So why don't you need to make more than that? Well, because, I'm comfortable and I'm happy. And it's true. Money does not buy you happiness. And that is not the reason for it. But money buys impact. Money buys time. So if you want to have time to pursue those things that light you up outside of your business, and you want to have the impact, I hear women all the time say, I want to change the lives of 100,000 women. That's awesome. Great. Well, it's going to take a bunch of money to do that because we don't have time to do that on our own. We have to make the money to have team members and build in the strategy so that we can scale to that size. And if you think about I see it coming in the money question all the time, like, well, what would I do with $1 million? Well, if you are heart-centered and you are not a selfish person, then think of the good that you can do. In addition to just impacting the world with your gifts, with your service and with your programs and with your products, you could also donate to charity. Like I always have said, yes, I don't need $1 million, but I do want $1 million because I know how much good I can do with that, not only for myself and my family and my heirs and my legacy, but for the world around me. How many times have you seen something and gone, oh, that my heart cries out for those people? I see it every time I pass in our town here in near Charlottesville. We have homeless people that are always out, they're always out on the street and they're always holding up the signs, about being homeless. And not to get into, all the details and issues. I know there are issues there, but it tugs at my heart because I feel like I really wish I could do something in a big way. Yes, it's great to help one person, but what if I could help the entire population? Like that's where my visions have now gone to over time. It's like, how can I help the city? And how can we eliminate this problem? And so that's what we want you to get to is really ask yourself, are you limiting what you believe? And are you limiting what your vision is and what is truly possible? Because if you can believe it, then you can see it and you can actually achieve it.
That's right. And I think it's important to just highlight here too. When we say, of course, you have to have the dream, whatever the dream is. But if we say you could have $1 million, we're not saying you're going to hoard it in your basement and sit on it and it's just for you. It's exactly what Deirdre just talked about. You could create a foundation. I would love to be able to create a foundation that helps women. There's so many times in my life where I thought, I would like to be able to help single moms because I was a single mom. I would like to be able to help, all the things that you've experienced in your life, all the wrongs that you've seen in the world, all the things that you wish weren't true. You could develop a foundation with that $1 million. So it's not like we're saying, but what if you didn't want to too? Let's also say, what if I wanted $1 million because I want an opulent home? I want several of them and I want to travel. That's okay too. You don't have to be someone who is doing something based on what you should do. The whole point behind this is tap into what you want. We're given wants and desires for a reason, and they are not bad. And I think society and our parents and our brains or whatever tend to look at wanting as being selfish and negative, and it's not. If you want something, you want it for a reason, and maybe you don't even know until you get it. It'll be revealed to you. I mean, that's kind of how life works, right? We don't know everything ahead of time. We take steps and things are revealed to us. It's so magical. So the next thing we want to talk about is the different ways of creating a vision board. And it's as many as you can think of, really. You could create a binder, and have pages of your visions. You could break it down by topic, like this is how I want to live. That's what that looks like. This is how I want to look. This is what that looks like. This is what I want to bring out into the world. You could break it down that way. You could do one big vision board electronically. Pinterest is a board, right? So we have actually a private Pinterest page that is just for Deirdre and I, where we have a vision board, and I have a personal one as well. So we can go on Pinterest, and this kind of taps back into when Deirdre was talking about the days when things are hard, or you're kind of not in a good mood, or maybe you're just exhausted and you don't have it in you to do some of the stuff that you need to do. Go onto your vision board and let yourself dream a little bit, because sometimes maybe the left brain is tired, but the right brain needs to be exercised. We just don't know, because if we're too stuck in, I've got to do everything on my to-do list, and we're exhausting ourselves, it's kind of like self-care to allow ourselves some space to just dream and hone in on what our visions are. So you can use I hear some people, one gal I know does a vision board that slides under her bed, and she even has a couple for her daughters. So when she pulls her vision board out, because the idea is that you want to be able to see it, right? You want to be able to have it somewhere where you can see these things that you're really going for. So your mind keeps seeing the picture, and then your mind takes that picture and it wants to bring that picture to reality. That's how it works. So this gal, she'll pull her vision board out. And if her daughters, who are little right now, come in, she'll say, oh, grab your vision board. So it's kind of cool. She's teaching them how to do it too. It's like, it's dreaming. We have dreams for a reason. Dreaming is not selfish. Dreaming can be so nurturing and give us back such a sense of self-care, and that we're valuable, and that we can do those things. I mean, life is magical. We don't have to limit ourselves to the bottom 1/3 of possibility, right? Because someone told us that we're supposed to. You're supposed to, I believe, as a divine and infinite being that we all are, you're supposed to experience all the full spectrum. And so maybe the whole point of life is to start giving yourself permission to do so. So however you decide to do it, hard copy vision board, you can cut pictures out of books or magazines or print them off the internet and do it that way. So you've always got it with you, or you can hang it up in your office, or put pictures, paste them on your bathroom mirror, whatever you want to do. It could be visions all around your house, so everywhere you go, you see something that is one of your goals. Or you have your electronic one that you can go in and just daydream and do it that way. So there are so many ways to do it. And what we can say is that to just get started with it, start getting comfortable with it, let yourself go, dream big, and notice if things come up. This is also a really good time. I like what Deirdre said she does every year on her birthday, is it's introspection time. So if you start pulling pictures and it makes you feel weird, like that's somebody else's thing, that's not me, like stop and question that, or jot it down. I love jewelry. And so the last time I was in my vision board, I was putting all these extravagant, things that like Elizabeth Taylor would wear. And I will say that I was like, okay, well, why are you putting all this on here? Well, why not? It doesn't mean I'm going to go have it all, but I love it. So I want to look at it. I want to dream about it. And why can't I dream that way? I don't have to only have Macy's level jewelry. I could have, red carpet level jewelry if I wanted to. It's just when things like that come up, jot it down. Like I was looking at this or houses or cars or whatever. Oh, it's not sensible to have a Maserati. Who cares? We're not talking about being sensible. We're talking about following your dreams, So go for it.